Think of, typically you want things that are like really weak doing it. Again, magic card power. That's the only way to ever. Okay, if there's actually not evolved a magic card just to see it do that.
Who'd what?
Nothing.
Oh,
the point is, yeah, that would, if you like, if you got on your side,
to level 20 and
be
that's
like
it.
more of a flail. It's more like,
Control people on one.
yeah, for example, if I had, like, okay, I'll show you an example of something that can flail. This thing can flail. It's a block.
That's God Goomy though.
Yeah, it's a goomy. I'm just saying that if you want, if that was flailing, I don't know what it is. So, yeah, it's basically you're like, so, okay, let's just cross this here. Say you were, again, Sailor Jupiter had just been beat the crap out of by some random monster.
wouldn't happen.
Wouldn't happen, but if it did, like, if this was the original Sailor Moon we're talking about where these things happen, yeah, and then suddenly starts flailing with lightning around her, then kind of what we're dealing with here.
I feel like in Sailor Moon, when we're recording the sessions, half of the script is like, if it's just like a Monster of the Week episode, half the script is like us, there's like us doing our attacks, and then the rest of it's effort noises of like us getting electrocuted, us getting our energy drained, us weakly getting up. So it's usually like a, and then we're like, and then there's usually a million Sailor Moon. You know, like we say, there's certain episodes where I'm like, really, that's all we're gonna say, and we're like, Sailor Moon, Sailor Moon, and it's like, okay, we get it, she'll be fine. Like, how about us?
Yeah, I swear, every monster that uses, every monster of the week that decides to use Giga Drain, or better yet, uses Dream Eater, depending on which saga you're talking to. Pokemon and Sailor Moon go well together. Original saga, it's Giga Drain. The second saga, it's basically the second one. Are you guys covering the anime on the arc? I forgot to tell you.
Yeah, we're doing, so in classic Sailor Moon, there's the Cardians.
Yeah, that's still, like that one would be a move, that's the trump card. What else we got? Let's look at a little game like everyone to battle. Let's look, match your Pokemon move to the monster. That's the third one with the, third one's with the,
that might be
I'll play this
That's all good. I feel bad because her hand's been up for a while, and I don't want her to like. I mean, you'll be really strong. You'll be really buff when you leave. You'll be like, how high? But yeah, we can get back to that.
It closes around 6.
So I got into voice acting. I always wanted to be an actor, but I was always really, really shy, and I didn't want people to look at me. And so voice acting turned out to be perfect because it's like you're behind this, you're in this little booth in the dark, and nobody can see you except the engineer and director. But I did theater since, I did some plays in elementary school, but I also in middle school and high school, I did all the plays. I went to the theater competitions. I took all these classes, and then in college I majored in it. Got my scholarship in it. That's nice. No student loans. And then Tony Oliver, who was he was like Rick Hunter in Robotech. He's done a lot of anime, but he also brought Power Rangers over to the U.S. So he's awesome. He teaches a voiceover class called Adventures in Voice Acting, and it's a really great class. If you're interested in getting into anime, dubbing, video games, I recommend you take it because it's one of the very few classes that offers anything about that. And so I took one with him. He came out to Baltimore and offered it, and so I took my first one, and he's like, "You've got a future in this business," and I'm like, "Okay." And then he came out again, and I did the intermediate level, and again he's like, "When you come out to LA, let us know." And I did AX Idol, which at Anime Expo, Bang Zoom used to do this thing where you would come with an anime monologue, you'd audition at the convention, and then the top 5 people would get to like be finalists, and the winner would get to audition for Bang Zoom in studio and go to Japan. They cut out the Japan trip the year I went, but I didn't get to. I didn't make it to the. I did not win. I made it to the finals, but I did not win. But then at the end they were like, well, actually you're all good, so why don't we just have you all audition? So I'm like, sweet. So I went into Bang Zoom, and I got to audition, and they let me just play any character ever, because they were just trying to see like what I could do. So they're like, here, can you play a little boy? I'm like, yup. And they're like, can you play an old lady? Sure. Can you play a mutant sushi monster? I'm like, yup. And then you just, yeah, they just wanted to see your range, and then they kind of put that in their database, and I also interned there. So I basically tried to tackle it from every aspect I could. But basically, took a lot of classes. I interned. That's a really resourceful, or a really good resource for somebody who's trying to get into the entertainment industry, especially in Hollywood, because there's so many actors in LA that nobody really wants to give you a chance, because they're like, the agents and casting directors don't want to waste their time, because they're like, well, we don't know if they're good, we've never heard of them, we've never worked with them, so it's really hard to get in the door. But if you're willing to, volunteer for college credit, or volunteer for free, or just to, give time so that they can get to know you, then they might start to be like, all right, well, why don't you come in and audition? And that's kind of what happened to me, is I interned, and they're like, intern, get in there and be these background voices. I'm like, okay. And they're like, intern, go in that hallway and voice all the girls in the background. And I was like, okay. And then they started giving me one-liners and two-liners, and then they started to let me audition for bigger characters. And then I started booking, and then it kind of just, everything was like a seed that you plant towards the next step. So I don't necessarily want to say, just do this and it'll lead to that, and everybody's journey is different. I'm sure you're aware of that, but that was my journey. And yeah, it took me 3 years to get an agent, but the agents are very helpful if you want to be getting into the bigger stuff, like the original animation that you see on like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, and if you want to be in the big video games like Gears of War and all that, you're going to need a voiceover agent. So anyway, yeah, if I think of any other helpful ways to get in, I will let you know. But yes, that's all you're. And I think the director's like, great, they got it. I think that's what a wistful pig would sound like. So as long as you sell it, and you're like, yep, that's a wistful pig. They're like, all right, moving on. So I had to learn that the hard way, as opposed to being like, what do you think that would sound like? What else? And then, oh yeah, and then the pig eating watermelon. It's like you're trying to like make noises, but also eating, and you're just like, that's a pig. That's like a weird humanoid monster pig. Power Rangers. That was difficult. Also, I had to play Killer Mutant Sushi in a dub we did of a live-action Japanese, it was a live-action Japanese movie called Dead Sushi. And there were so many different kinds of sushi, and they wanted them all to sound different. So it's like, basically it's just, I guess sushi becomes sentient, and so it's like these little there's sashimi, there's like albacore sushi, there's so many different types, and there's squid, and like they're like, that sounds too similar to the sashimi. Can you make the unagi roll sound a little bit more distressed? It's just like, so it's like when they're trying to get really specific things out of something that's like sushi, and it's like, what does sushi sound like to begin with, let alone the differentiations between the sushi? So I think a lot of the sushis, because they all had like razor sharp teeth, and they were all talking, but they weren't saying anything, so they're just like, so, and then there were some times where they were like, okay, so this clip's about 2 minutes long, so just, I guess, do variations of that for 2 minutes, and so it's just like, at the end of it, they're in the booth cracking up, and I'm like, great, thanks. But it was also really fun, because how often do you get to do that? Like in your apartment, with your neighbors would probably like have you institutionalized, if they just heard somebody being like, so, while it was